Hello again, and welcome to another episode of 1001 by 1, where each week we take a film out of the book, 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die, discuss it, analyze it, and ultimately decide whether or not it should be in the book. My name is Adam St. John.
My name is Britt Reinholtz-Hobson.
And I am Joey Rogate.
And I have a confession to make before this starts.
Thievery.
I
Piracy.
accidentally stole this episode from Joey last time because I just thought it was mine. Like it just, and even Joey admitted today at, I think it was 4:15 p.m.
So 7:15
Pacific Standard Time. So 7:15. I was like, this is your episode, not mine. And Joey was like, oh shit, it is. Yeah, I just assumed it was yours too when you so brazenly introduced it during Zodiac.
I was about to during Zodiac, and then you did it. So I was
then I did
cool.
it.
Yes, I botched it.
So I'm taking over today. And
Okay.
Joey's going to take over Ex Machina because we feel like thematically that makes sense.
Okay, I like this.
So today, the crew and I are going to jump into a stranger's large van in Scotland. After she asked for directions to the highway, unaware that her plan is to harvest our innards. Yes, we are discussing Jonathan Glazer's bizarre Under the Skin, which somehow is not a Brit film, is a Joey film, but feels very much like it is a
Feels
Brit
like a Brit
film.
episode. I think that's...
Absolutely does. I think that's why I assumed it was mine. It's not, but I have usurped it and it is now mine. But before we dive headfirst into that dark, deep pit of black goo, we are going to give you some film recommendations. Adam, I'm going to go ahead and start with you today. What are you going to recommend? Does it have anything to do with Under the Skin? Does it have nothing? I don't know.
It's linked in the respect that it's the only Jonathan Glazer film that I hadn't seen, and so I am recommending on my lovely $1 DVD copy of Birth. I had not seen Birth, and so I watched this about a week ago or so, and I was pretty riveted by it. I'll just kind of read what's on the box. A widow for 10 years, Anna is looking forward to getting remarried when a mysterious boy appears claiming to be her late husband reincarnated. The boy can recite the most intimate details of Anna's life. What follows is a spellbinding journey inside the very soul of a woman whose mind refuses to believe the impossible, but whose heart knows the undeniable truth. Watching Birth, really, Jonathan Glazer's filmography could not feel more wide-ranging and varied. I was very much captivated by Birth, and I was reminded, like, I want to get into this with Under the Skin too, but like Nicole Kidman, I think actually is one of our best living actresses, and like takes so many swings, like
Hard stop. Yes.
risks all over the place. She's great.
it's so cool to watch her do shit like this. And I monumentally respect her in continuing to work with auteurs and honestly work on just some weird, awesome, bizarre shit. So Birth, Jonathan Glazer's second film, that's going to be my recommend.
I love that. I'm a fan of Birth. I will be honest, I probably put it at 4 of Jonathan Glazer's films, but that's not saying it's a bad movie. It's just
I would have to agree with you.
I have not seen Birth yet.
Oh,
I wanted to. I just could, but
Joey, I'm
really
so
hard one to rank.
interested in what you think of Birth, to be honest. Because I think you'll appreciate it. I really do, but I also think you're gonna be like, what the fuck? Because that's how I felt watching that film. In the best way. Birth, great choice. Joey, what are you bringing to us today?
So I'm bringing a movie from 2024, A Different Man, starring Adam Pearson, who, we'll talk about later in this movie, in Under the Skin. But I really loved A Different Man. I think it's what Sebastian Stan should have been nominated for last year.
Yes.
100%.
I think Adam Pearson should have gotten a supporting
That was
actor
such an
nomination. I think he's really fantastic, and we'll talk about him later in this. But I think it's a great movie, and when I guess I hadn't seen this since I saw A Different Man, so I didn't connect that it was him.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So I did not. So when So when it popped up, I was like, oh, I just really like him. I think he's really super talented guy. So directed by Aaron Schimberg, starring Adam Pearson, Sebastian Stan, and Renata Renzve. So killer movie. Everybody should go watch it. And Adam Pearson is the man.
I love that film. That was almost my recommend for today, but I decided to go with something kind of weird, kind of out of the box, kind of like unlike anything I'd seen. I haven't seen the remake of it yet, so I can't say anything about that. But I am going to be recommending 2003's Save the Green Planet. It is a South Korean film that follows a man who kidnaps the CEO of a pharmaceutical company because he might be an alien. And yes, if that sounds familiar, it was recently remade as Begonia, starring Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons, which I have not seen. I'm sure it's incredible. I think it's going to be totally my vibe. I mean, everybody that's seen it that I know
absolutely will be.
It's your film.
Britt, you're in.
Britt coded. But I actually included this on our list of like debut films that I really loved. I think I had it at like 30. It was never going to make the list, but I loved it. It's so much fun. It's a weird, wild little film full of really amazing props and bizarre performances that really work. So like, I loved it. I highly recommend it. Watch Save the Green Planet with an exclamation point. Very important. Awesome. I love our recommends today, you guys. I love our recommends like every time. So
these are great.
No, this was a top-notch one. This is top-notch. Yeah, we covered everything you wanted to cover in like a recommend, right? Nothing, something else by the director, pulling a supporting actor from here and something that they kind of blew up in, and then something just like, if you like this, you'll dig this. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, something dealing with aliens, because spoiler alert, this movie deals with aliens. So I guess we're ready to jump into some cast and crew of this. So this was directed by Jonathan Glazer, which I think we can all agree is one of the like greats of our lifetime. Like he's just banger after banger after banger. The screenplay was by Jonathan Glazer and Walter Campbell. It's based on the 2000 book called Under the Skin by Michel Faber. I think that's how you say his name. I don't know. He is Dutch. So if I said it wrong, I apologize.
The Dutch love us right now. So you didn't go wrong.
We love the Dutch.
Yes.
We love them. The cinematography is by Daniel Landon. It was edited by Paul Watts, and the music was by Mika Levy. Scarlett Johansson is the female of this movie, and she is the focal point of this movie. I have everybody else. Should I go into everybody? Because I can.
Do her, the bad man, and the deformed man.
I can do that. Okay. So we have Scarlett Johansson as the female, and if I'm going to say that, I have Jessica Mance, who is the female in her alien form. I have Adam Pearson as the deformed man. I'll say I have Dave Acton as the logger. And then I have, where is he? Oh my goodness. Hold on one second.
Jeremy McWilliams.
That's it. I have Jeremy McWilliams as the bad man.
If you're going to steal, you got to be ready.
I don't know. Well, no, I was ready. I don't know why the bad man is not on this list, because I copied it from a list of everybody that was in the movie. So you can keep that in. That's fine. This was nominated for a lot of like independent awards, but it didn't tons of independent awards, including the Chicago Film Critics Association, which I felt like we should say. It was up for Best Film, Best Actress, Best Adapted Screenplay, but it did actually win Best Original Score for Mika Levy. It was up for the British Independent Film Awards for Best Director, Best Actress, Best Technical Achievement, for sound design, which I think is absolutely should have been nominated, and then also for music. And then for the BAFTAs, it was up for Outstanding British Film and Best Original Music. Is there any? Yes.
I just want to extrapolate on the fact that Under the Skin, which is, I could see that like a real critic's darling movie, but a hard to watch movie for just your average film goer.
Yeah.
Sure.
This losing Best British Film to The Theory of Everything, that movie is just not good. I mean, this is like, it is one of those like looking back, like it was egregious the next day, but like years later, just The Theory of Everything is just exactly what is wrong with
Biopics
filmmaking.
at their worst,
Oh,
right? Like
Jesus
biopics at their
Christ.
worst.
The only time that movie comes up is when people talk about how it shouldn't have won anything. That is the only time it is referenced.
To be perfectly honest, it's the reason why people hate biopics. It's the reason why I hate biopics. I just think they're all kind of unnecessary now because of that win.
Yeah.
Personally. Did anybody find any really, really fun anything really fun that they wanted to, like, any reviews that were really, really fun or anything like that?
I don't have a review, but I have the screenplay book from A24.
Oh, that's fucking cool as hell.
Okay. And it's awesome. I'm very happy with it. But there's a director's statement in the beginning before the script that I think kind of goes into him like reading the book and where his head was. It's like a page long. Are you guys cool to indulge and listen to me read this? Because I think it's very interesting.
Joey, I stole this from you. Absolutely.
I'm going to read something after you, so please.
Okay.
Please do.
I'm not going to do it in my reading a book to the kids book because I tend to do a voice and I make everything rhyme.
Please do.
No, it would not be appropriate. Director's statement by Jonathan Glazer. I remember the first time I saw the image of this planet as photographed by man. The blue, life-giving glow of Earth held like an only child in the black eternal void. That godlike perspective defines us as a species which is transcending its physical limitations. In that image, both our power and our fragility come into sharp focus. It's a very alluring vision. As I begin to imagine this story, I pictured an alien seeing this. I imagine that even if it knew nothing of the Earth's rich bounty, it would still be drawn here. What if this traveler through timeless distance could look upon the jewel of a planet and see nothing of its beauty or its wonder, but rather an equation, perhaps in the same way the conquistadors went in search of new worlds, driven by the unfettered arrogance of commercial opportunity. Looking down at us the way a lion looks at a lamb, a being that was somehow the opposite of us, or an extrapolation of what we might become. Thinking from inside this alien perspective, I am struck by the horror of that absence, the sheer emptiness of an existence without the central tenets of humanity. In Faber's book, the story is one in which two aliens are immersed in human form, concealed to appear and act exactly like us, then transported to Earth to hunt us. We being equivalent perhaps to chocolate or tobacco. For the purpose of this statement, I'm going to concentrate on one of these, an alien disguised as an alluring woman. I wondered what would happen to such a creature during its work here, if it were put in the way of subtle, fragile, tenuous human events. Where might that immersion into our consciousness lead? What if the alien, against its will, became human? What if it turned to face its own blind spot, came to recognize its own horror? Witnessing this transformation is central to the heart of our story. The unwritten discovery of human self as it becomes she. A great monster is one we recognize ourselves within. The quintessential moment in Frankenstein is when Boris Karloff picks flowers with the little girl by the lake. The proximity of those two sitting beside each other is where horror resides. The corruption of many bodies makes an incomplete whole, yet a fragile heart is somehow retained within its monstrosity. With these aliens, we're creating a new Frankenstein, a new Dracula, a new monster for our times. The aims of our film are to seduce the audience, frighten them, disrupt them, provoke them, and enthrall them to show them something they've never seen.
I mean, I guess we can wrap it up. That was perfect. Thanks for coming. Great episode, y'all.
It's that like attention to detail and that kind of thought, and it's not because of how long he takes to make films. The Kubrick comparison, I think, is obvious, and then you see this movie, and you have some wild black hole 2001: A Space Odyssey kind of moments in it, and you can see like that the comparisons are there, but I think they're apt. You know, I think it's like very clear that he is a thoughtful guy who is only going to put out something when he is ready to do it. And I think that what you just read is a really clear example of the attention to detail he brings to a film.
And I'm sure we'll talk about this later, but I think it also shows how much care he puts into his films, how he wants the audience to be able to connect. And this is I consider this probably Glazer's most pretentious film because it is so difficult to get into in a great way. Like, I love pretentious films, so I'm fine with it, but he doesn't hold your hand. He's not going to explain himself, and yet we
Does
still
he
find
ever, though?
no, but I feel like there are other films that are easier to get into. I think Sexy Beast is easier to get into. I think that The Zone of Interest is easier to get into. No, but in this one in particular, he doesn't give you anything. It's not until the end of the film that we even know, oh shit, she's an alien, right? So in the fact that we have no dialogue, in the fact that we have a character who's so alien to, like, this is literally like the most alien film I've seen, in that it's not going to try to make us think she's human, and somehow we still are connected with it. It just shows how good he is as a filmmaker. If not to give my hand away too early, but to give my hand away too early, this fucking movie rocks. Yeah.
Listen, the guy, he's pretty fantastic. And the fact that I just think when he does these things, everything is so thought out by the time he comes, which, I don't think what he does is super accessible, but I also don't think it's a problem, because I think
it's not a problem at all.
Because when you lend yourself to it, it's very rewarding, because you get into it and it's like, oh, that was fucking great. And I don't listen, he didn't in the middle of it say, there wasn't some, like, the guy, it wasn't like, you are the monster, right? Like, he lets
Joey, come on. Why you gotta take that low blow?
He lets the audience learn. He doesn't make sure he's like she doesn't, like, she's not like reading a book about like the creature from the Black Lagoon. Like,
yeah, of course. Yeah. No, I totally agree. With that.
Different filmmakers. One's subtle and
what
one's
I thought
as deep as a pond.
What I thought was more like Nicholas Refn Wynn's film, Only God Forgives. That's where I went with it.
Okay.
It's not good. Don't watch it.
It's
really
not that good. Yeah.
But in a similar way, where there's very little dialogue, it's a lot about vibes. It's a lot about the atmosphere. And this is just so much more successful. But we haven't even introduced the film yet. We still got a list to do, because I did find a list, y'all, somehow. But yeah, Adam, you had something you wanted to read. Do you want to do it now or later?
I can do it later, because I think it's a review, and it does. And I will say that the Rotten Tomato scores are they're pretty wide. 83 critical, but 55 audience.
Yeah.
So 83 is a good score. So I went out seeking one of the negative reviews from what I would consider a prominent critic, and I found one, and it made me really enraged. So we can save it for when we get into it, because as soon as we start to talk about ScarJo, I want to bring this up.
Oh my God. Okay, put a pin in it, because I have a lot to say about ScarJo in this as well.
You got it.
I have it playing. Sometimes I'll put the movies on if I want to, and I have it playing. And right now it's her with the ladies, like, going into the club.
Yes.
God, it's so good. Okay, so hey guys, this film was not inducted into the National Film Registry.
Shut the front door. No,
I know.
Man. Okay.
It's not an American film, so it wasn't. Do you think
some things deserve special consideration?
I fucking agree. But I think it would be on our list, right? Like, probably. Do you think that this film is on the IMDb top 250?
I'm going to say a very, very frustrated no.
I think it's a no as well.
Absolutely is a no, because the IMDb top 250 has no taste. So this is not included. Joker is still at like 87. Same cool. Movies as before. So, it's still there for some reason. Do you two like lists?
Oh, I should tell you two. When Christmas break hits, I get like 3 weeks off. but I live my life according to lists of things I have to do each day in order so that my break can be manageable. So I am living in a list world. Ah, it's great. It's great.
That just feels so limiting.
But then, like, when I complete the
you get
list,
more done, right?
Yes, and then I'm done, and then I can be like, ooh, time to watch.
Focused. Because you're focused. There's not like, oh, I'm just trying to do a million things, and then you're not planned well.
So, yes, I did my list, and then I watched A Few Good Men, and I was like, what a day I had.
Oh man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like lists, but I respect that, so I guess I'll be okay
You
with
might
it.
love lists more than the both of us, Britt.
You know what? Shut up.
I think that's
I can't rate a list though because I stole this episode, so that's how it goes. So I went on my Favy Screen Rant. It's either Screen Rant or Collider. I found a couple weird ones that I was like, am I going to bring this weird blog in? And I didn't, because I actually like this one because there are weird sci-fi movies, but these 10 went just a little too far, and I went, really? Okay. And so these are 10 weird sci-fi films that went a little too far, apparently, according to Screen Rant. So take this with a grain of salt, everyone. So at number 10, we have 2022's Crimes of the Future by David Cronenberg.
I mean, my biggest complaint about that movie was how like withheld it felt.
Me too. I wanted it to go farther. I was like, give me more, because I think it's an interesting concept.
Yeah, that he didn't go far enough in.
Yes, agreed. So this is already a wrong list. At number 9, we have 2013's Under the Skin by Jonathan Glazer, which I don't know. Yeah. I'm just like, okay, really? Fine. At number 8, we have one of, I think, Adam's absolute favorite films in the entire world, directed by Terry Gilliam, 1985's Brazil. You don't like that movie at all, right? Like,
I not really, but as I've said before, I think the making of and behind the scenes stuff is fascinating. It is a cool movie to talk about.
I would love for you and my husband to talk about it because this is one of Neil's favorite films ever. Like, he loves this movie so much. It's kind of wild.
I'll watch it again. It probably deserves a watch, but I was not a fan of it when we covered it on the show.
I love Brazil. I really do. At number 7, I feel like this is just like an attacking me list. I'm going to be perfectly honest, because at number 7, we have a movie that Joey told me that he did not put on the draft, but had at some point, was Delicatessen from 1991, which I do love. I love Delicatessen. It's so weird.
That was my pick for Joey movies.
You know what? And I think legit, it's a weird, whimsical movie, and maybe the only whimsical movie you'd like. At number 6, we have 2004's Primer. Did either of you see this film?
No.
Oh, yeah, I've seen. So Primer is a low budget time travel movie.
Very low budget, very low, high concept movie. Yeah. Where about time machines and like building a time machine in your garage. I don't know how I feel about this movie. I think that I respect it for what it did. I don't think it's particularly successful, but like,
it's not a good hang. It's kind of it's like but it's like also 85 minutes. It's the longest 85-minute movie.
Is it longer than L'Âge d'Or though? So like,
well, no, but just it feels long. You know what I mean?
Does it? Yeah, but also
L'Âge
d'Or is like 77 minutes, and it feels like 158.
But L'Âge d'Or's ending though, right? Right? What a laugh riot that was.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So at number 5, we have another David Cronenberg from 1981, Scanners. Which again, it's just scanners. Like, it's fun.
I don't
know. I love Scanners. I love the shotgun. Like, come on. Like, when the guy's head explodes and it's a shotgun that they use, like, it's great. At number 4, we have Zardoz, which is just bonkers if you haven't seen it. Sean Connery is in an orange diaper the whole time, basically.
They just need to, just find the still. Just find that picture and you're good.
That's all you need to do. Don't watch this film. At number 3, we have Alex Garland's Annihilation, which I have a lot of opinions
I still
about.
have not seen that, actually.
I don't.
Yeah,
love it.
I'm not eager to.
I have a lot of issues with that movie. At number 2, we have a Ken Russell film, Altered States, which again, what? This is a weird list. I'm so confused by this list. Yes, that's it. This is going to be the still.
The long hair is very
and the thigh highs, like those thigh high boots. Like my God, he's styling.
I can't believe he did it. I really can't.
I mean, he probably needed the money. That's why. Somehow they had a lot of money for weird ass sci-fi in the 70s. And then at number 1, this is such a Brit list because it is Satoshi Kon's Paprika.
Joey's favorite movie.
Favorite movie ever. Only eclipsed by Spirited Away. But yeah, those are my weird sci-fi films that went too far.
Posters are getting framed as we speak.
Nice.
Oh, well, that is my list. And I'm going to be honest, it was kind of hard to find a list for this. I wanted to find something that was like Scarlett Johansson's best for performances, but there were a lot of lists where this didn't even make it.
Okay.
Or they'd be like her SNL performances. And I was like, that's not a movie. I'm sorry. We're not including that. But this one was fun and it felt very me coded until it wasn't. So I liked it. I guess we're kind of ready to just dive into this film, even though we've already been kind of talking about it this entire time because it's hard not to talk about this movie. I'll give a brief synopsis of what this movie is about for anybody that's listening. Erin, my sister, who has not watched this but will be listening to this, this is what this movie is about. A woman prowls Scotland by night, asking eligible men for directions while surreptitiously deciding whether or not they would make good victims for her mass of black goo. After a chance encounter with a man unlike any that she has known before, our protagonist abandons her life of slaughter and goes in search of pleasurable experiences, none of which go as planned. After she is assaulted by the owner of a bothy, where she has taken refuge, she peels away her tatted skin suit to reveal that she is in fact an alien. In his efforts to bury the evidence, the man who assaulted her lights her on fire and she dies in the snow-covered fields. That is this movie, basically, if you're doing a very loose plot. But yeah, all right, let's open this up. Let's talk about it. Did either of you guys read the book that this is based on?
No.
You should have. It's really, really good. Okay, so this book is awesome because this is a great example. I feel like Adam and I always talk about how we love a movie that takes the idea of a book but really runs with it and goes a different direction. And this is like the epitome of taking the idea of a book and going in a different direction because the themes of the book are more about environmental decay, factory farming, and big business. It's very much about what her name is Esserly in the book, and it's about her farming humans and how she feels about that and how she feels about her life back on her home planet where everybody's like these horse, dog, fox hybrids. And the reason that they don't see humans, they see humans as meat is because they're bipedal. And anything on 4 legs, she can't imagine ever eating because they're just like her, basically. And whereas I feel like the movie themes of this are about discovering humanity, the fragility of the human condition, and recognizing life in your food, which is kind of completely the opposite of what the book is trying to tell you. But they're both so engaging and so interesting. I love the fact that Jonathan Glazer said he wanted to make a movie out of the book, but he did not want to make the book into a movie, which is just like, great, good for you. If you've sold the rights to your book, like that, you kind of have to expect that somebody's going to take it and run with it.
Yeah.
But it's really cool. And I did buy it. But if you don't want to buy it, there's an awesome audiobook version on YouTube that you can listen to. It's like 9 hours. It's not that bad. You could 9 hours isn't that bad. You could listen to it at work. Like, it's great. So, but I highly recommend it because the themes, they're so similar and yet completely different at the same time. I really loved it. I was so glad I had the opportunity to read it for this. It's the only reason that I read it. And I'm glad that I did. But yeah, so that's just one thing I wanted to talk about. When did you guys come to this movie?
So I think I definitely did not see this in theaters. This was probably this is a 2013 Telluride, but 2014 like US release. So I new dad. So I probably didn't see it until we'd moved back to Seattle and like caught it when I could rent it. Didn't really know what to expect. I mean, and I hadn't seen Birth, so all I knew is that this was the guy who did Sexy Beast, except for the trailer looked radically different than what Sexy Beast was. And I think, there was some Ex Machina vibes, which I had seen. And so I was interested, and I think that because I think I've only seen this movie twice. The initial time that I saw it, and then for the pod. So I forgot a ton of shit, which is great actually going into a viewing like this. So I saw it probably within a year of its release, but definitely not in the theaters.
I was similar. I think I'd seen it. This was my first Jonathan Glazer film. I kind of avoided it because this is going to sound really superficial, but I did not like Scarlett Johansson's haircut. So I thought, I just don't think I can get on board with this bad haircut. And I still stand by that. It's a pretty bad haircut. Even as beautiful as she is, I don't like it. But it works for this movie. But it really was what turned me off when I saw the like poster.
We all make our own choices.
We do, and that was a bad choice on my part, but you know what? I have to live with it. And then I think just one day I was laying in bed and I thought, I guess I'll try it. And I was blown away by it. I was thrilled I watched it. It really made me so uncomfortable. And as I've said many times, I love when a movie makes me uncomfortable. I love when I have to sit and like question the things that are happening in it and why they're making my stomach upset because of what's unfolding on screen. But also in a safe way. Like I felt safe watching this film. And I didn't get the impression that anybody was not safe while filming it and going into doing research on this. They weren't. It was a very, very like good production team. So that made me happy. But yeah, no, I think it, like you, I'd only seen it once before now because I just didn't put myself back in that headspace. And now I've seen it 2 times in 2 days. And I'm not sure when I'm going to go back to it again after this, but I'm glad that I had the opportunity to watch it again.
I didn't see it in theaters either. I saw Ex Machina first, and then like right after seeing it, I came across like, oh, if you like this, watch this, one of those things, and Under the Skin was on it, and I hadn't seen. It was my first Glazer, so I was like, all right, cool. I like Scarlett Johansson. And I don't care about your haircut. So
judged it so harshly.
So I watched it and I loved it, and I had not rewatched it until this.
I love that. I love that we all kind of had our second viewing. For
I did
the
read the whole, but I did read the whole like book that I have.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Like that was probably I got that around the time Zone of Interest came out.
Cool. Okay. I'm jealous. I need to get more of those because like reading through the script I feel is really, for me, it's very helpful. I don't know. I'm sure Adam can also agree. Like it's nice going through a script of a movie and being like, oh, here's a change. Here's something different. I wonder how they visualized this. So one of my favorite things about this movie is the way that it was shot, the way that it was kind of like hidden camera secret, which I don't always like. I think that it's really, it could have been very easy to make this film feel like a found footage film. And it's not. They didn't do that. They just had secret cameras. And it's really successful in making me feel othered. It makes me feel like I have a separation from the humans being shown, the people around, because we're really seeing everything from Scarlett Johansson's character's point of view. So everything seems a little bit weird. We linger too long on people. We're following men in particular way farther than we should in these shots. And I think that's really successful in making it feel alien. How do you guys feel about? Yeah,
I agree. I agree with the voyeuristic shots of clearly like she's looking through the windshield. We're following these guys. I mean, I agree with that. I don't know how successful because also they talk about how like they would use between 8 and 10 cameras in the car when somebody would come in.
Right.
And I don't want to say that it's overkill. I don't know that it added to the scenes. I think what you're talking about, like when she's going through the mall or when she's tracking people, like all that is great. But in terms of the actual, like those short dialogue scenes, it didn't, I don't know. I take it or leave it for those scenes.
Yeah, I think though, kind of the realization, because I remember the first time watching the mall scene, and I remember not really being sure what was happening, and then it cutting to her like using the makeup and dressing like, I was like, oh, she's learning, and realizing that I was like, oh, and I was like, I was so far in at that point right away, so early on, like kind of putting together what was happening, that I think they really work. The guys, you know, the stuff in the vans, I think it's overkill because if you miss it, you probably can't do it again. So make sure you don't fuck up. And I think that's why Jonathan Glazer is so effective.
Well, they had, I was watching some behind the scenes and they were talking about filming those things in the van because a lot of the men that came up that they were like, drive around and talk to men. And so she did. And they had, you know, the PAs in the back who had to jump out and run after the people to get them to sign waivers to be in the movie. And I thought that was really cool and really innovative to make it feel very realistic. There's a lot of, and like there are a lot of, in these behind the scenes, they were talking about how nobody approached Scarlett Johansson on the streets because nobody believed that it could really be her. So her like stardom was somehow too much for people to think. They're like, no, it's just a lookalike. So she was able to walk through the malls. She was able to walk down the street. She was able to go into the club and people would do double takes, but then they wouldn't approach her. They wouldn't say anything because they didn't believe it could really be her. And I just think that's pretty masterful to manage to make that happen because
I agree.
Like that takes skill. And I think that also, I don't think we've seen this type of performance from Scarlett Johansson in a very long time. And I would like to see this performance again. So should we just talk about ScarJo for a bit? Like, I'm happy to.
You know what? ScarJo is in this? Fantastic.
She's fucking phenomenal.
She really blows me away the entire time. I think she's really great. And when that scene of her after the deformed man in the house and catching herself in that dirty mirror, is just top-notch acting. Yeah. And she's killer.
Oh, there's a great moment. Oh God, and I don't know if I'll be able to find it in my notes, but there's a moment where she's talking to somebody and she's smiling, and then the person goes away and her facial expression changes. It could be. It just changes so fast, and I'm not even sure how to describe her sort of base look. I don't want to say disinterest, but it's just like expressionless. She just goes back to just like blank.
She's observing mode. It's so quick.
It's so good. It's great.
I do think it could be potentially when she's talking to a man outside and he has the tattoo and she's asking like, oh, what's your tattoo about? And he's like, oh, it's my name. And then she asks, you know, what his name is. And he says, Andy. And then his friends start calling to him and she just peels out because she realizes at that moment, he's not viable. There's no point in doing this anymore. I need something else. That's a moment where she absolutely has that flip. That's just so subtle and yet so effective.
She's in different modes, right? If she's not engaging with people, she's just not interested. It's really fascinating to watch it happen, and it's not easy to pull off.
No, not at all. I think it just shows that she is a really fantastic actor who has maybe let's stop doing big blockbusters, even though those are going to get you a lot of money. And maybe I want to see her do something like this again because God damn, I am drawn to her in this movie. She's really good.
She's great.
I agree.
All right, Adam, let's read your review and piss us off.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
So Richard Corliss of Time magazine, who if you see film criticism is a name that you probably have seen before. I will say that at some point he says in fairness, ScarJo deserves credit for entrusting herself to a risky project in a role that couldn't be further from one that she plays in other movies. And he's referring to Captain America and all the Marvel shit. But I am picking and choosing what to read from this review, but mostly because it makes me mad. Okay. He goes on to describe the plot of the movie, and then he goes, the first minutes of Jonathan Glazer's Under the Skin raise the promise of an artful thriller of science fiction with psychological undertone. Sci-Fi, sci spelled P-S-Y.
Yeah.
Glazer's and Walter Campbell's script, loosely based on Michelle Faber's novel, focuses on an extraterrestrial whose mission is to kill male humans and harvest their meat, a culinary delicacy on her planet. Glazer, a director of commercials and music videos who made his feature debut in 2003, which is obviously we're a little off there, with really the rambunctious crime saga Sexy Beast, proved with his second film, Birth, that he can hook moviegoers with an opening scene of mysterious wonder. It displays a man's death and possible rebirth in one complex shot. His opening for Under the Skin, 9 years later, reveals another alien takeover. Instead of a boy occupying a man's body, the vandal is a creature in a woman's skin, a seductress with a scarlet litter and a homicidal intent. And she's naked. Yep. The lurid wish of many fanboy, not to mention the fiction of internet photoshopping, comes true as one of the world's most desirable women gets nude. Who wants to see Under the Skin? And then later on in the review, he goes, the movie proves its avant-garde bona fides in two ways. One is the score by Mika Levi of the band, I don't know how to say the band's name, so sorry about that. At first, the music mesmerizes as its drone accompanies the alien's first words, but it soon turns repetitious, three ascending notes familiar from old sci-fi movies and played on an instrument that sounds like a theremin with a chest cold. The other is Glazer's decision to film on the fly with natural lighting and hidden cameras in the fashion of Von Trier's Dogma precepts. Johansson went more or less incognito, and the men she picked up were not actors, but ordinary blokes who learned only later that they were in a movie. They signed releases after consenting to what they had to perform. And then in parentheses, he goes, I hereby agree to get naked with Scarlett Johansson.
Wow.
If Glazer hoped that his choice of restrictions would create a sense of dangerous spontaneity, he was mistaken. Under the Skin is handsome in a dour way, but inert, a cunning experiment that died in the shooting or in the editing table. You'll want to get the DVD, though, and not just for its study of Scarlett. So I
think I hate this man more than Bosley Crowther, and that's saying a lot.
So I obviously, not liking the movie is a take. That's fine. Don't like the movie.
Don't like it.
I think making such a huge part of the review, the fact that Scarlett Johansson got naked, it's one of those things where I'm like, leave that to TMZ, right? Leave that to outlets that I think do that kind of shit. And I don't support that, but there are places that do that. This is film criticism. And we are focusing heavily on the fact that Scarlett Johansson gets naked in it. It's one of the most oddest things to put in here.
Why is he so scared of a naked female? Why is that so upsetting? Because there are more nude men in this film than there are naked ScarJos. And to be perfectly honest, I don't feel like it's kind of like watching Poor Things, where I watched Poor Things and I didn't feel like it was through the male gaze. I don't feel like the nudity within this film is through the male gaze, which is huge, because that does not happen very often, and especially for someone who like Scarlett Johansson, who's a beautiful woman, and is lovely to look at, right? But that's not what this movie is about, and that is completely missing the point of this entire film. My cheeks have gotten red. I'm so mad about that.
That's missing everything so much that it's just deliberately missing because
it's deliberately being like, oh, there's tits.
Well,
what is wrong with you?
Boobs. And then his next article is about the male loneliness epidemic and wondering why.
It's weird because
incels. Who knows?
Because I remember.
10-star Joker review from him.
It's interesting because it would have been one thing if he were to say, I guess I would have, if this was an angle he wanted to take, and he mentioned when when Halle Berry got naked in Swordfish, and there was a whole big deal because she got paid a ton of money, and it was like one brief scene, but it was like she went topless, and it was for one scene, and it was a payday. Like I think her pay doubled because she chose to go naked, right? But if anything, like focus on the fact that ScarJo is choosing this like weird avant-garde film that's being shot in Scotland to do this. She's not profiteering from this. She's choosing this really cool, unique role and performance to do it. But that doesn't even come up. It's just she naked, y'all.
Because that's not what he cares about, right? Like her making this artistic choice for something like this movie with this director would benefit from this character doing this, right? Like that's interesting. But this is just weird and judgmentally. It's weird, judgmental, and childish, and just kind of like it just feels very pathetic.
It does feel pathetic. And I truly feel like this person is just uncomfortable that a woman decided they were comfortable being naked on screen. Because again, no mention of the multiple dicks we see throughout this film. Like there are people who are naked constantly in this movie. It is a movie where you cannot.
Dicks and black goo.
Dicks and black goo. That's it.
Not only did I forget that Adam Pearson was in this movie, because I did, but I forget that he just has to wander naked through a field because he just gets like left. I guess I'm released now.
Field.
You know, like
just
a field in Scotland.
A field in Scotland. I listened to this is totally off topic, but I listened to a really lovely interview with him. And he was talking about doing this film and how, you know, it was very intentional of casting him because they didn't want to use prosthetics, which I think is great. Yep. And they went through a charity that worked with people who have like facial differences. And he thought, oh, I got to work on this. Like, I got to at least audition. Like, who knows what'll happen? And, you know, he talked about how incredible Jonathan Glazer was, how a lot of the dialogue is from what their conversations. And then they were talking about walking across the field in Scotland. He was like, the worst part was that it was a cow, like, it was where cows are. So they got rid of all the cows, but they didn't get rid of all the cow droppings. So I'm just walking through a bunch of cow shit. And he was like, and I think they probably got it on the first take, but I did it 10 times. And I think it's because the first time I was supposed to be Jonathan Glazer, I got hit by a taxi and broke my leg. So I couldn't make it. And he was like, and I literally met the director laying on the street being like, hi, my pants are being cut off because I broke my leg because I got hit by a taxi. But hello, it's nice to meet you, Jonathan Glazer. And it was just, he is such a wonderful human. Like, I love listening to interviews with him. I want Adam Pearson to be in everything. And he was very close to being my unsung hero. He's not.
He is my unsung hero.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. Ugh.
One, he's awesome. Two, I completely believe that meeting him could turn an alien human. Like, that doesn't feel like a stretch at all. When after meeting him, like, listen, some of these guys that she meets in like these clubs and stuff, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Into the conveyor belt after the goo, like, cool. I don't whatever. But after meeting him, each time I watched it, I've been like, no, don't leave him in the goo. And then when she catches herself in that dirty mirror, I'm like, yeah, see, that's fucking Adam Pearson. So he's my unsung hero because I think he's unbelievable. I think casting him was just, you know, all-time casting because it just works and just top-notch work. And it's believable in this very ridiculous, you know, very sci-fi world.
My unsung heroes are the casting directors, Kathleen Crawford and Caroline Stewart, just because I think not only finding Adam Pearson for this was incredible, but all of the non-actor actors that they have throughout this film are just fantastic. Like Dave Acton, who plays the logger at the end, which is a very difficult role to do. He owned the bothy and the lands that they were filming on. So that's why they cast him. And he was not uncomfortable doing it, but he kept on being like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I'm doing this.
Uncomfortable doing it.
Yeah. And he was like, obviously, because he's a good guy. Like, he's not a bad man. Right. But they managed to make these actors who aren't actors look so good. It reminded me of Reedland, to be honest.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Because
and it was
Yeah.
good, like in a good way.
Because you know what? Because then you also think about a movie that used non-actors, Nomadland, which I think is not as successful here. I just figured they got a bunch of Scottish local actors to do this and run around, and then they were just not. And I think that the fact that they made that work is great. I also think getting Scarlett Johansson after she started in the Iron Man stuff, and
Yeah.
you know, same year she did Don John, you know, like I think
I'm sorry, I forgot about that movie until just
we all did. And then
It's
and
your
then just
favorite.
actually letting her act is so I just think a lot of really great choices were made here. And Jonathan Glazer's really good at this.
Yeah, goddamn.
This isn't my shot of the movie, but while we were talking about Adam Pearson, because I don't know that I've ever seriously considered an insert shot, but there is a great it's maybe the most hand-holdy Jonathan Glazer gets in the movie is Adam Pearson is in the car and we cut to him pinching his hand, and it's such a great insert shot because it's by showing him do that, it's the most we've felt for anybody who's gotten in the car with her.
Yes.
100%.
And it makes and like it's the kind of thing where I'm like, if I'm in my mid-20s and I get picked up and I'm like, I would be wondering, is this fucking thing real?
Yeah.
Is this real? And so by cutting it's the most I feel like Jonathan Glazer goes, I'm going to give you a little bit of a handout. Just so you
And I feel
understand
like
what's
that was
going on.
Adam Pearson doing it and Glazer being like, that's genius.
It's
like,
fantastic.
It just feels like an alley-oop.
So that's my scene of the movie, the scene between ScarJo and Adam Pearson, because it's the moment of real tenderness. It's the moment where you do sense the switch, the where she's wondering if food is actually worth the trauma, right? Which I feel like, you know, a lot of people, who knows, maybe this is a movie about, hey, go vegan. You never know. But Adam Pearson is not only shows such tenderness on screen, he also has one of the only funny lines in the entire movie, which is when he's like, I guess we're not going to Tesco's, which is a supermarket. And it makes me laugh every single time because I'm like, yeah, dude, you're not going to Tesco's. I'm sorry.
Not only have I been to a Tesco's, I've been to a Tesco's in Scotland. So
you have. I've
only left the country really once, and it was to go to Scotland. So
I've never been to a Tesco's in Scotland, but I've been to so many Tesco's in the UK. I've gotten them. I would imagine. Deals,
you know. Yeah, you're more well traversed in the Tesco than I am.
I can make my way around at Tesco's. They don't have green chilies though, and that was very surprising. And I also had a lot of trouble finding black beans. And I was like, oh, I am not in Washington. Like these people trying to make new Mexican food for my mother-in-law was very hard in a Tesco's. They didn't have anything I needed, but I made it work. What was I thinking? Tortillas were hard to find. But anyways, we'll continue. But yeah, Tesco's is great. And that was my scene of the movie. I just loved it so much. I think Adam Pearson, put him in everything. Hollywood, come on, you cowards.
Yeah, I mean, really the whole from Adam Pearson getting in the van until her leaving the house and then letting him out of the goo. I know that's like 3 scenes, but that's my favorite piece of the movie.
I think I will accept that as an entire scene. I think that the feeling of it feels like an entire scene. So I
also think it's maybe Scarlett Johansson's best acting ever. In
Agreed.
that, like, she does so many different things in there, and I like her a lot. Like I'm a big fan of hers. Like I thought she was good in the Jurassic Park movie this year. Like I really like her.
I did not see that.
I did. Listen, dinosaurs. And but I thought she was really good in it. Like the movie not being great was not her fault. Like, but I think what she does in that, from being the mission to being a human in like 6 minutes and making it fully believable. Is great. And then I mean afterwards when she actually has emotions while driving by herself is like crazy, and just it's such a flip.
How do we feel? So I kind of separate this film into two parts. I have part one where she is the predator, which like I love when we have a female serial killer in movies because it doesn't happen enough. And let us be killers. Like we're allowed. Like come on. But then to that is her, I don't want to say it's her retribution. I don't want to say it's more of her coming to the understanding of what she's done, but not really feeling bad about it because like she doesn't have to feel bad about it. Just her trying to understand what emotions are. How do we feel about that? Because they kind of do feel like two separate films to me, not in a bad way. Like they work together, but it's like part one and part two.
I mean, I think that's true. I think it's more than that, though. I think this is a plot-less movie. It's a lot of vignettes. Yeah. There's a lot of like, there's the club scene. There's the Adam Pearson scene. There's
would we say it's slow cinema that's about the human condition, the subgenre of commenting on human condition?
Yes, I think that's spot on. My scene of the movie also feels like it's a couple of scenes because of how far it goes, but it's a really hard cut to the beach. And
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Oh, the beach stuff is
it's because it's so many things happening, but I have to include the whole thing because I have to include what is maybe the most devastating scene I've seen in quite a while of the guy just walking past the baby. And you can see that the tide slowly coming and
me up. The second we got to the beach and she stepped in the water in like UGG style boots, and I was like,
oh my God,
oh, your
incredible.
Feet. I was like, that's just a terrible choice. And then I remembered what happened and I got like a pit in my stomach when he walks away from that. I have a very strong reaction to it.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to shame anybody, but that was very choppy water. You let your dog go in that water. Are you really going to jump in that water after your dog? I'm sorry, but like...
Yeah, it's your family. What are you talking about?
I'm not going to leave my fucking baby. I'm not going to leave a child on the beach by themselves.
Well, I would not let anybody in unless I could protect everybody.
No, I wouldn't let a dog in either. No, like I'm kind of shaming them for letting the dog in, but like...
Yeah, I wouldn't let the dog in, but I would also go help the dog. I wouldn't be like, see ya.
I don't know if I could help the dog if it meant that I left the baby.
I'm skewing Britt's way on this one.
Sorry.
And I have a dog too. I
can't let the dog in.
I understand.
I get it. But I wouldn't have let the dog go in the water at all. Like, let's be real. I wouldn't have let the dog go in the water at all.
Those people were not responsible. That was not safe water.
When he runs in and then goes back in, I was like, your fucking baby is on the beach.
But now he's going after his daughter.
That was his wife,
That's
right?
his wife.
That's his wife.
Whatever. Yeah.
But at the same time, it's your baby.
You got to protect the baby at that point.
You got to protect the baby.
Like when you're getting pulled out, you're not winning the second time.
You're not winning.
Exhausted.
No.
You're exhausted.
There's a great moment too that happens almost right after where, again, we hard cut. A lot of hard cuts in this movie.
I'm okay with it. Editor, you did great.
I love it. She's in the car and we hear a baby. And it's almost like we can't tell where we are, and she looks, and you're thinking, God, did the guy grab her? And it's like, nope, totally different baby, totally different place.
But I also think that is one of the moments where she is becoming not human, but she's understanding emotions because there's no other time that she is ever like she's not even listening to the weird guy who she ends up dancing with at the club. She's listening to that baby, and there's something about that cry that she's like, I don't want to say it's a maternal instinct because I don't believe in that, and I think that's
she's an alien. She doesn't.
But exactly, but there's something about it where she thinks, oh, that's not right. That's not. I don't like listening to that. That's
Something's
sad.
Wrong here.
Something is wrong, and I think, though I believe that Adam Pearson's character is the one that like. Ignites
the
this
straw that broke the
humanity
camel's back. That can't be the only thing.
Exactly. I think the baby starts it. Also, the most it was almost my shot of the movie, which is like horrible to say, the baby on the beach, because it's one of the most devastating things I've ever seen on screen. It's
a great shot, but holy shit, it's awful.
It makes me want to vomit. Like it makes me so upset.
Like I'm anxious talking about it. It's funny. I actually was like, that is a great shot. And I was like, nope. You're not doing that.
No, I did the same thing.
Not doing that.
I did the same thing. Yeah.
The baby scene, actually, I remember the first time I watched it, because watching the baby, when she's reacted to the baby, I was like, oh, that girl in the beginning was an alien who became human. And when she was crying, I just thought that, they killed somebody or were robbing that, because you don't know, you're figuring it all out. And I was like, oh, that girl was an alien and she got emotions, so they had to replace her out.
To be honest, it took me 3 times to realize that. It was this last time that I was watching it that I went, oh, she was an alien. Because my assumption was she was a sex worker. She was somebody that nobody would consider.
She was just a woman who was missing.
Yeah, that's what I thought
whatever
before.
Happened. Or and it was just, I thought she car accident, like whatever, and they knew it, and then they took it for like the clothes. And then the baby crying, I was like, oh, this is a thing they do. And okay, these people
There's a lot
these
of layers to this movie.
There is so much. And Jonathan Glazer does not, he wants you to figure it out. And that's why I like him. That's
I love
probably
him.
why some people don't like it. But
you know what? They need to try harder. That's all I'll say.
And what I love, and I
Del
think
Toro's there for him.
From
Fuck you, Joey.
From Under the Skin to Zone of Interest, you can see not just him leveling up, but also like he's taking a lot of what he was doing in Under the Skin and he's applying it directly to Zone of Interest, the multiple cameras, right? So obviously we can just cut from one to the next, but also this the stark color, like Sexy Beast is vibrant at times, but like Birth could not be more muted. Birth is
agreed.
New York winter, just like a lot of dark colors, but like there was so much. When we cut to red in this movie, I was like, that's fucking Zone of Interest. 100%. He's just doing it again.
And it's just bigger and louder in Zone of Interest. Like he grows into it. But even the beginning when it's like turning into the eye and she's practicing speaking, like that's all stuff that's, with no that's in like he does all of these things and then just spends years figuring out how to make them better.
My favorite shot. So I really wanted to say that my favorite shot of the film was when the innards are sucked out of the swimmer. Like it's so good. I love it so much. But that's not, because my favorite shot is actually when Scarlett Johansson is just walking down the street in the Scottish countryside, and she has that vibrant pinky red shirt on. It is incredible because she looks so out of place. In this area where she's supposed to be trying to blend in. And it's just another example of like, as she's finding her quote unquote humanity, I'm just using that word because we don't have anything better for it really in our language. I'm not an alien, so I don't know what they would call it. She's not assimilating well, let's say. And she's trying to, but she's still othered, right? She's still not quite right. And that shot in and of itself is perfect. It's the perfect moment to be like, she's never going to get there. Like she never will be a part of the human race. And it's, and yet she's still picked up by that dweeb of a man, that kind of big loser who decides that he really wants to have sex just wearing his flannel. Like, come on, man.
Scotland is cold. It's like the winter there. Like, look,
I know. It's so pathetic. Put a blanket on. Like, come on.
I'm with you.
Else. Like,
I'm so glad you mentioned when the guy in when he's down there with his shit gets sucked out.
It's so good.
So I didn't actually know. I didn't know who to give this to. So my unsung hero is actually going to One of Us, which is the VFX studio that worked on the movie, because I thought all that shit looked really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And when it gets sucked out, he morphs into like this like weird Rorschach test thing for a while. It was really fucking cool. I liked all that stuff.
You guys, if I invited you over because you both were in Seattle and you walked into my house and the first thing you saw was just a framed picture of that guy's skin floating in the goo.
Oh yes,
this tracks.
It's funny.
It's so bad.
I just thought about what you're saying. You guys watch the '70s show?
I
not
did
forever, but
did you watch it?
Yeah.
So there's Kelso, Ashton Kutcher, who's whatever, but it just made me think of it when you said like her standing. He's talking about he's like, she's so hot, she's like an alien, and that's what I just imagined, like Scarlett Johansson walking through Scotland. It's like, all right, well, Come on, guys. But
it's true.
yeah. So there's a lot of really great shots here, but you know which one I really thought was cool? The motorcycle in the beginning.
Oh.
Like, it was awesome. It was so disorienting, but it was really great.
The motorcycle the entire time. I mean, Jeremy, I don't have him written down because apparently he McWilliams. He's a professional motorcycle racer. He had to, retire because he got too old, but he's still very good at it. And, trying to, again, in the behind the scenes, trying to find someone to do this role was really difficult. But Jeremy's name kept being brought up, and he's not an actor. But I think he embodies this character very well. He's very sinister.
I believe him.
Me too.
When he stares at her eyes to like see if there's any emotion or humanity in there, that's a very it's so uncomfortable because there's just you just feel violence from him in this very, very, I don't even know what the right word is, but it feels very dangerous for her.
Yes, I agree. Especially when they both go into the room together, when she like opens the door and he's kind of like just hovering around her because he knows something's not quite right.
He's a step too close, but like you don't really know why. Like it just feels very wrong. You
guys, I love this movie. It's so good. I really do. God damn. And okay, so there are a lot of films I think that take the idea of like, we don't need dialogue and we can just have vibes and it's fine. And I love a vibe film. We know that. But sometimes you do need dialogue. Sometimes you do need to understand what's going on. I said before, Only God Forgives, which is a Ryan Gosling-led film, who I think is great. I think he's genuinely a really good actor, but I don't think he's good in that movie because I genuinely don't think it's a good film. He barely says anything. I don't have any sense of his character, and it's all just kind of a mess, right? It's a mess of neon and pretty music. This is the opposite. This is how it works when you know what you're doing. Like, this is a good filmmaker who's able to express what he wants without dialogue.
And every idea is so thoroughly fleshed out, right? Like
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Everything he's putting out there's nothing that's a single layer, right? Like
it's not just a concept.
Right. Everything has numerous layers and ideas to it, so you're able to feel it. So maybe you're not getting everything on one watch, because I do think this is something that you should watch.
You got to watch this like 5 times.
Yeah. But like there's just everything, so nothing's rushed or accidental, right?
Yeah.
So I think
totally
just the fully fleshed outness, and that's why I read the whole thing I read in the beginning, because just how much he's thinking about every piece of it.
I mean, there was something. What did the editor was talking about the movie and how they would get batches of footage like all at once because of all the cameras, and they'd get like 70 hours of footage in a day because of all of the cameras. And like, clearly that's a lot, but also, when you've got that much to work with, it's like, we used to have this, when I would do device shows, we would talk about this idea of like, you've got to collect all of the coal because the pressure of all of it will create a diamond. And so like, if you don't have enough material, well, then now you got to, piece it together and hope that you have enough. But if you've got too much, it's a burden to go through, but when you have all of it, you can shape it and form it and ultimately get to this final product, which is great.
And I think it is a boon in this case. Like it worked so well. I would like everybody to see this film at least once, if not 18 times, because there's something you can gain from it. I think that this is, there's even there are people that I read essays on where they think that it's a commentary on immigration, which I think is really interesting. And
I can see that though.
Me too.
Yeah, absolutely makes sense.
And
if this was set in America, I think it would feel like so much more. Not that immigration doesn't happen everywhere, but I feel
but we're American, right? Like
100%.
that's how
it would, because of the otherness of her, it would feel more.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and I think that that's one of the strengths of this I know I talk about David Lynch a lot, but in a Lynchian way of the film is there are so many abstract themes throughout it that you can kind of gravitate to what really speaks to you. And that's like one of the really cool things about art, right? We can find something that resonates with us in something that's very abstract. And that's beautiful. Speaking of art, I think it's really interesting that they chose not to have her find art in this film in order to become human, quote unquote, because a lot of the time when we see these movies or these stories about people who are outside of things becoming one with the community, it's usually finding art of some type, and they chose not to at all in this film.
Well, like the closest they get is like her attempting to enjoy a nice piece of cake.
Yes.
And she just like spits it back out. Like she can't, like, it's just, it's 100%. Foreign. This is not something that she can accept. You know, her body is projecting this cake.
Doesn't need it. It needs the red goo on the conveyor belt. But there is a lesser version of this by a lesser director that has Vivaldi's Four Seasons just blasting at some point, and her just like stopping and crying, and just so slaps you in the face.
Okay, I do have a question, and this might seem a little bit crude, but I'm very curious to what you both saw in this moment in the film, because I have seen it, and it's actually the moment that's currently on my screen. So our lead character, who some places I have seen like called Laura, which I don't understand. Like, I'm like, okay, but she's not really referred to anything. So she is just a character. She is just the alien to me. The alien attempts to have sex. And all of the sudden, during the act, she gets up, she looks at herself, and then she's gone. Do either of you have an interpretation of what happened in that moment? Because I have my own. I've heard a couple different versions that I think are totally valid and absolutely could have happened. But I'm just wondering what you two saw in that moment, because I have one that's very clear in my mind of what I thought happened, and I just don't know what we don't know. It's up for interpretation.
So I think actually where I leaned at the moment, because I feel like we're cross-cutting with the motorcycle gang, is that it actually had nothing to do with the sexual encounter and more to do with her feeling like she's going to get caught in this moment. And so my reaction to that moment was less about her immediately in that sexual encounter, but more about the act of like getting caught in that encounter.
Yeah. For me, it was just her, as much as she was starting to feel all these things and becoming more human, then grappling with the fact that she's not, right? She's still something under the skin, like literally, and having to then come to terms with something that earlier she never would have had to think about, because that was just a tool for her job. Now it was something that was going to potentially give her away.
I think both of those are super valid. I really like that. I have seen it.
But you're idiots. But
no, that's absolutely not what I'm saying. No, I really like that interpretation. I've seen it where it's the first time she's ever been aroused, which I was like, I don't think we're Jean Dielmaning this whole thing, right? Like I don't see that happening. But the other one was that she doesn't have genitals. And I was like, okay, I can see that.
She doesn't. I thought that was pretty. Yeah, that's the shell part of her.
What I thought it was that her skin suit ripped. That's immediately what I thought, because we see it later where she's like pulling it away. For me, on my second viewing, I went, oh, her, like, that's how fragile she is. The closer she gets to humanity, the more fragile she becomes. The more, like, at the beginning of the movie, where she is in complete power, she has no, again, I don't like using the word humanity, but that's the only one we have for this. So like, she has no humanity. She has no empathy for other things. Mm-hmm. And as she becomes more female, she is preyed upon by other people. And so she begins to rip and tear at the core of her. And so that's where that's the very disturbing place I went to with that whole thing.
I think that's sound.
Yeah, no, I think that's yeah, because if she doesn't have a vagina, and like that is like a next step with where, yeah, I think that completely makes sense with the whole world of the movie.
That's where I landed on that. I know that was an uncomfortable conversation. I'm sorry, but I was very interested. I mean,
that could have gone way more uncomfortable. I'm okay. I'm quite all right.
I wasn't uncomfortable.
Great. I mean, I trust you both. Like,
That's
we're good friends.
me.
I wouldn't have asked that question if I didn't think that you two would have very intelligent answers to
now. Richard Corliss probably would have quibbled with you about
Richard Corliss. Would
how
be
I
like,
feel.
If I ever see one of these vaginas, I'm gonna be so. I'm gonna handle. Do I need a lamp? Do you need a lamp to see a vagina? He's like, one day. He's like, my mom didn't let me. My mom didn't sign the permission slip for me to get sex ed in school, so I don't know what's happening. I'm so scared.
I grew up in Catholic school, so we didn't have sex ed, but oh god.
I watched a video once of Mina's. I don't know what to
Yeah, fuck that guy. He can suck it. Like,
yeah. I hope
he sucks.
I'm gonna make this a clip. I'm gonna tag him.
We could do that.
I actually think you would tear him fucking down. Like, no problem. In a heartbeat. I'd sit and watch and applaud. Be like, that's my friend.
Fucking clown.
Okay. So we've done favorite shot, favorite scene, unsung heroes.
I have not done favorite shot.
Okay, what's your favorite shot?
So I talked about a few, and it'd be really easy to pick any of the moments where the guys sink into the floor. Like, it's just
fucking killer.
Really, really cool. But like, as far as just like every frame of painting kind of thing, it just is a small scene. It had nothing to even do with the movie. Just catching the cold fog rolling off of the water. It's fucking stunning. It looks so good.
It looks so cold.
It does. It really does.
I put a blanket on watching that scene. Literally. Like, I was like, oh, I'm chilly now. I'm wearing a turtleneck and a t-shirt because I was cold after watching this movie. Absolutely.
I also, another one, there's just so many shots. Her walking away from the van in the fog.
Yes.
Just really, really great.
I mean, if we're doing more like her after she's, oh God, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. After she's like taken her face off,
silently putting
super good podcasting. She's taken her face off, and then she like the new.
Wait, we're on YouTube now. People can see this. I'm sorry for keep interrupting you.
Well,
no, that's fine.
Hopefully,
whatever.
we are. We'll make sure this works.
So, when she takes her face off, and then the new version of her, or old version, I guess, is looking down at the skin suit, and it's just ScarJo in her hands.
Yes,
makes me wildly uncomfortable.
It's so good. When it blinks, when the Scarlett Johansson blinks.
Scarlett Johansson, this is a plea. Please go back to doing things like this. I want to see you, like, do as many blockbusters as you want. Get that money, because, like, let's be real, I'd sell out in a heartbeat because, being comfortable is nice.
Listen,
but also,
I will happily be in the next Jurassic Park movie if you're looking.
Please do something really interesting and cool like this, because you're so talented. Like, God, she's so talented. And this just showcases that she is incredibly talented. I don't like Marriage Story, but I think she's great in Marriage Story. Like,
I agree with that. I also am I'm not a fan of it, but I think she is fantastic in it.
Yeah. So
I like it, and I like her. So there we go.
There we go. 1001 by 1, seal of approval. Scarlett Johansson. We like her.
She's great.
Yeah, I think I'm good. I mean, I think I could talk about this movie for ages.
I've said all the things I wanted to make sure I said.
Cool. Oh, one thing I have to say. I know that a lot of people are like, oh, she really perfected her British accent. I don't think it's great, but I think that's the point.
If it was perfect. She's not British.
Exactly. She's not supposed to be British. She's supposed to be pretending to be British. And it wasn't until the second time that I watched this movie that I really understood that point, because I saw a lot of reviews that were like, she perfected driving in England and the English accent, and I was like, well, I don't think she did either, but that's okay, she doesn't have to. But in particular, the fact that they decided to cast her and she wasn't British, that's like even better, because she's supposed to be pretending to be this character. In the book, Esserly, the character, went through an incredibly painful procedure in order to be a quote unquote sexy woman, and talks about how she's constantly in pain. And I'm okay with them not bringing that into it, but I love the fact that they brought into it the fact that she is not what she is supposed to be, what she is presenting herself to be. And I think that was a brilliant choice. Like, Jonathan Glazer, again, hats off to you. You're like, incredible.
Pretty great at this whole thing.
If we had a sung hero, it would be Jonathan Glazer, because he is very, very sung, and I love him. So,
yeah.
All right. So I guess we should ask our question. Under the Skin is not in the book.
But it was.
It was in the book. But I feel like when we still have was in the book, if you're going to put it back in, you have to take something else out. So we're going to start with Adam. Adam, do you think that this should be added to the book?
I think Under the Skin is a fantastic movie, and I think it's something that everybody should see. And yet I think it's only Glazer's third best movie.
Third?
So
fair. That's so hard.
I can't, and this is the thing, and I can't wait to hear your answers. I'm going to say no, because in my world, when the book gets updated, Zone of Interest should be in there. Well, and it's not, and I know I can't, it's not going in because this is already out, but in a world where Glazer gets one in, for me, it's going to be Zone. So I'm going to say no, but I highly, highly endorse and recommend this movie.
I think that's sound. I accept. Joey, what do you think?
So I think this is Glazer's second best movie. I think that this does belong in the book, and I think when the new revised one comes out, that this and Zone of Interest should be in the book, because they're doing very different things and should both be seen by people for different reasons. I think so. I say yes. I think it's great. I also think Scarlett Johansson, who, you know, whether you like some of her choices, she's a very important actress in the last 15 years and has done a lot and been in a lot of things and has made a lot of money for movies in the box office. So she's an important actress in the world. So, you know, something that is arguably her best or at the tops, I think should be seen. And I think, so yeah, I say yes. I'm going to take out MASH again, because MASH sucks.
MASH sucks. Like, that's sound. I can't believe Adam didn't take MASH out for this. Like, wow. Who knew he was such a MASH head? Crazy.
I've never seen MASH.
It doesn't matter. You can just take it out anyways on principle. I agree, Joey. I agree, because I also think that that this should be in the book. This is such an interesting alien film that manages to make me feel completely outside of it. It makes me somehow sympathize with the alien, and I find that really fascinating. I think that it takes the idea of found footage and kind of knocks it off, like it just turns it on its head, and I love it. I love this movie. I think it's a very, like, one of the most Brit films that has ever existed. Also, justice for female serial killers. I'm fine with them in films. If I was going to take a film out, I was thinking about other movies about aliens that are trying to help us find humanity, and I am taking a film out that I previously said should be in the book, and I'm taking Solaris out to make room for this.
Oh, that's not where I thought you were going. I thought you were going to offend our guy Lock Martin.
Oh, yeah. No, I could take that out too. The Day the Earth Stood Still. Can I take both out? I'm going to take both out to make room for this and Zone of Interest, so that we get 2 more in the book now. But I just think this is a far more successful story of being alien and attempting to somehow connect with humanity and the human condition. And also, fuck The Day the Earth Stood Still. Zone of Interest is in as well now. That's my
Scarlett
choice.
Johansson, the female, would not have even messed with Lock Martin because he would just not be worthy of eating.
Can you imagine if she
would've
had
just
invited Lock Martin into the... He couldn't have even opened the door to get in.
He couldn't even... That sprinter was too high. She would not even feed that to her alien friends. She would just be like, "You're not even..." She would just sympathy kill it. Like, you come... Like I assume hunters do if they find very sick animals.
I don't think he wouldn't sink into the goo. You know what I mean?
He just float.
She'd be like, "What are you doing?" And he'd be Jesusing on the goo.
She'd have to push him down, but as she did, he'd just like break.
Oh,
there's no
shit,
need
that's
to
good.
take. I'm Lock Martin.
Justice for Lock Martin. Oh, well, that's 2 yeses and a no, because Adam really likes MASH. Who knew?
Oh, wow. What a cool take at the end of our lovely Under the Skin conversation. A movie that I really enjoy.
Sure you did, Adam. You're
yeah,
such a
whatever.
liar.
Fine. I hate it.
McAdam,
I'm with
really.
Corliss. I'm with Corliss. You know, I'm with my Corliss crew. No, not
Where's
at
your
all.
red hat?
I don't.
McAdam's like,
ooh,
we
God,
cannot take out military propaganda movies.
thought we were past this. So that was our Under the Skin
Never.
conversation. You can find us on all the places where you find podcasts or on all the socials. And Britt, because of the change in who's hosting who, what are we talking about next time?
Next time, we're going to talk about A Streetcar Named Desire, a movie that I just chose randomly when I incorrectly tried to put other things into the draft. Fun fact, I've auditioned for this play many times and never been cast. So I don't think I'm meant for this particular show.
I'm so excited to talk about Streetcar Named Desire and Elia Kazan and Tennessee Williams. The theater nerd in me is ecstatic for this.
The theater nerd in me is excited. The bitchy part of me is not excited because I haven't been cast in this, and I think I'd make a fantastic Blanche. Funny thing, I was never called back for Blanche. I was always called back for Stella and still never got it. And I was like, come on.
I also have never been cast in A Streetcar.
Well, that is a mistake.
But Joey's got real Mitch energy. Though,
That's what I was
tell
just
you.
thinking. Adam,
I
have
don't
you
know
done
who
this
Mitch
show?
is, so
No, I'll save it for the pod. I've never been in the show, but I'll save it for the pod.
Oh, save it for the pod. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, great. Adam, I guess you close it out. I was about to, and that would have been a giant disaster.
Until next time, I'm Adam.
I am Britt.
and I'm Joey.
And we will see you for A Streetcar Named Desire.